Forgetting information from long-term memory. Forgetfulness is a very common occurrence in our daily lives. Forgetting occurs when we are unable to recall or retrieve information that we previously learned or experienced. In the previous video, we have learned that forgetting from short-term memory happens when we are unable to keep information in our memory for more than a few seconds. In this video, we will learn how forgetting from long-term memory happens. Before going to the details, please remember to subscribe this channel. Do watch other videos in this channel. Share it with students and those who love learning psychology. Thank you. Theories of forgetting. There are 5 popular theories of forgetting in psychology. The trace decay theory and the displacement theory deals with forgetting information from short-term memory. The retrieval failure theory, the interference theory, and the consolidation theory deals with the forgetting of information from long-term memory. First one, the retrieval failure theory. Indel Tulving, he developed the retrieval failure theory of forgetting in 1974. He believed that forgetting of information occurs when an individual fails to retrieve information from their memory. Even though the information stored as long-term memory is not lost, we cannot recall it at the given moment. A classic example is the tip of the tongue effect. In this effect, we are unable to remember a familiar name or word. Sometimes we say, like, it is in the tip of my tongue, but I cannot, recollect it or remember it. The two main reasons for failure in memory are when there is a failure in encoding, due to which the information never made it to the long-term memory. Then there could be retrieval failure where we cannot access the information due to the lack of retrieval cues. Let's see what are the retrieval cues. A retrieval cue is a trigger that helps us remember something. When we create a new memory, we also retain the elements of the situation in which the event occurred. These elements will later serve as retrieval cues. The information is more likely to be retrieved from long-term memory with the help of the relevant retrieval cues. Conversely, the retrieval failure or the cue-dependent forgetting, it may occur when we cannot access the memory cues. Semantic cues. These are associations with other memories. For example, we might have forgotten everything about a trip we took years ago until we remember visiting a friend in that place. This cue will allow recollecting further details about the trip. Then state-dependent cues. These are related to our psychological state at the time of the experience, like being very anxious or extremely happy. Finding ourselves in a similar state of mind, it may help us retrieve some old memories. If we learn something while we are in a very happy mood, we may find it easier to recall that information when we are feeling happy again. Then context-dependent cues. These are environmental factors such as sounds, sight, smell. For example, witnesses are often taken back to the crime scene that contains the environmental cues from when the memory was formed. These cues can help recollect the details of the crime. Another example is if you are trying to remember something you experienced while on vacation at the beach. The sound of the ocean waves, the feeling of the sand on your feet, and the smell of the ocean air, it can all serve as context-dependent cues. And it can help trigger the retrieval of the memory when you are in a similar environment or situation. The interference theory. John A. Buckstrom was the first psychologist to study the interference theory of forgetting in 1892. He stated that retrieval and recall of memory could be interrupted by previous knowledge and new information. For example, an individual will not remember what they had for breakfast on Sunday because of the number of meals consumed throughout the week. Proactive interferences. It takes place when old memories prevent making new ones. The proactive interference is the phenomenon that takes place when old memories are interfering with the new ones. This often occurs when memories are created in a similar context or include near identical items. Remembering a new code for the combination lock. It might be more difficult than we expect. Our memories of the old code it interfere with the new details and make them harder to retain. Have you ever got a new phone number or moved to a new address, new place you relocated? After moving, you will tell the people. Chances are there you may tell your old phone number or you may tell your old address. And probably when New Year starts, most of you accidentally write the previous year, right? These are examples of proactive interference. That is when old information, it hinders the recall of newly learned information. Then retroactive interferences. It occurs when old memories are altered by the new ones. Just like with the proactive interference, they often happen with two similar set of memories. For example, if you have learned French and now you are learning Spanish. While speaking French, the Spanish might interfere with your previous knowledge. So in essence, we forget because memories interfere with and disrupt one another. So the interference theory deals with our new learning or the old learning that interferences with one another. For example, this week you are studying about the memory and learned about the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. Next week, you might be studying the lifespan development and learn about Erikson's theory of psychosocial development. But thereafter have trouble remembering Ebbinghaus forgetting curve because you can only remember the Erikson psychosocial theory. The third one is the consolidation theory. It is theorized by George Mueller and Alphonse Pilzecker in 1900. This theory is based on physiological evidence. The other two theories of forgetting it concentrate principally on psychological evidence. The consolidation theory is based on the physiological aspects of forgetting. The process of memory consolidation, it takes place when the memory is stabilized to prevent the disruptions. When we take in new information, a certain amount of time is necessary for the changes to the nervous system to take place. And that is the consolidation process, so that it is properly recorded. During this period, the information is moved from short-term memory to the more permanent long-term memory. So the moment a memory is consolidated, it is moved from short-term to long-term storage and it becomes resistant to forgetting. A network of neurons, all connected via synapses. There will be a pattern of stimulation and inhibition. It has been suggested that These patterns of inhibition and stimulation can be used as a basis for storing information. This process of modifying the neurons in order to form new permanent memories is referred to as consolidation. There is evidence that the consolidation process is impaired if there is damage to the hippocampus. It is the region of brain where this consolidation takes place. The aging can also impair our ability to consolidate information. The consolidation theory helps to explain why we sometimes forget information we thought we had learned and how the sleep and other processes help us to solidify our memories into long-term storage. Let's see an example for this consolidation. You meet someone new at a party and they tell you their name. You might repeat their name in few times in your head to help you remember that name. If you don't use the person's name again for a few days, you might forget it. This is because the memory of their name has not been fully consolidated and stored in the long-term memory yet. Let's have a quick recap on what we have learned. We have learned the forgetting information from long-term memory, and we have learned 3 theories of forgetting. The retrieval theory explains the phenomenon of the tip of the tongue, where we cannot recall a familiar word in a given time. The interference theory deals with some memories interfering with the retrieval of other memories. And the proactive retrieval and retroactive retrieval of memories are the two kinds of memory retrieval interference that commonly takes place during the memory retrieval process at any given time. The third, the consolidation theory of forgetting, it focuses on how once the memory is consolidated becomes more resistant to forgetting and can be retrieved easily. Hope you like this video. Please share and subscribe. Thank you and keep smiling.